So, my last film touched upon We're All Different, and it also touched upon me starting Aikido. I talked about being a young man working as a motor mechanic. I worked for myself, and it was very important that I got as many customers as I could, because at 23, when I started Aikido, I just had a new baby girl. I'd taken on a mortgage of a new house, and my commitments of travelling costs, paying the rent on my small shed, trying to buy tools as I needed them to build my small business. So the van that broke down, later on in the day, the painter came and he said to me, would you like my business? I have 3 vans and a car. And I said, oh yes please, I'd like your business. But he was so pleased that I'd helped his painter and decorator out that he wanted, I thought at the time, to be kind and repay me. But it came with a snag, a catch I should say. I didn't realise, but he said, oh, I do Aikido, I'm the teacher's assistant, and we're about to start a new beginner's course, and if you are prepared to come to this beginner's course and do the whole course, I'll give you, at the end of it, I'll give you my business for 12 months, and then we can see where it goes from there. I had no idea what Aikido was. I was far too busy working. I would work from 6 in the morning till 10 at night. On Sundays I forced myself to work from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So I was putting in all these hours. Well, I was earning a living, I was keeping busy, and in the book it tells you other points. But I went to the beginners class, and it was run at a school, and any of you that know about schools, they work in term times. So this was, they had to get, I think it was 12 people. I think they had to have so many before the course could be run. And perhaps that's why he was trying to recruit people. So I turned up in jeans and a short sleeve t-shirt. Jeans were my normal blue denims. I had a red t-shirt. This is how far I can remember back on what I was wearing on the very first night. They had to have enough people, and they got enough, just enough. I met the teacher. I didn't know at the time, but he had around 3 heart attacks. Mild ones, but they were severe enough that he had to be hospitalised each time. But he was still prepared to do Aikido. He was a first Dan, and he'd moved from London, where he'd gained his first Dan, and this was at the Hillingdon Hut. It was a old wooden building from the Second World War that had been used, and it was behind a pub and a small car park in Hillingdon. So he come from good quality background, because that Hillingdon was the first place ever for Aikido to be taught, and it was taught there by Kenshiro Abe, the great famous judo master. He'd been to Seo Sensei, and he was coming to teach judo, but he at the time was so impressed with O Sensei's Aikido that he showed the judo people a few Aikido techniques. and said, if you like these techniques, I will send a master called Nakazono to teach you, because he will be teaching only Aikido. They agreed, and Aikido blossomed in the UK from this point and this place onwards. So I wasn't really interested in the lineage. I was only interested in getting this 12 months business from this painter and decorator. 3 vans and a car meant that I could more likely cover all my rent for the year in this small shed. What at the time was, I believe, £11 a week. It was a very small amount. It wasn't not so small then, back in 1973. Anyhow, as the weeks went by, a term time, I think from what I remember, is 3 months. Let's say 12 weeks. It's not so important, these facts. Each week, as the weeks went by, they were getting less in numbers. We got down to 7, and the teacher said, I think the class is going to have to close, because if we drop below a certain number, the school says it's not worth continuing. But everybody had paid, so the number in the first place was enough. The members paid the full fees, even if they didn't turn up. So the school had their money. We were allocated a room, and so therefore it wasn't so much that it was going to end, but the teacher had to make new arrangements. And these arrangements were going to be made to move 12 miles from where I lived in this village to Cambridge, the main city. We moved to the main city, where it was a judo club that had permanent mats down. They were a very big judo club, and they could afford to leave the mats down all the time. They rented the hall. It had been going on for many, many years, so there was no fear of it folding. So we moved to this, where I became a yellow belt. I earned my grade, and this was once a week. It was once a week in the school, it was once a week in the judo club. By the time I got my yellow belt, I was so enjoying it that every day I was thinking how much I enjoyed this Aikido. And I don't know why it grabbed me in such a way, because I'd been doing many hobbies before that, but the hobbies were keeping canaries, keeping tropical birds, keeping a breed of Dutch rabbits. I was a motocross professional rider. I was a rallycross driver. You know, I had all these different things that I'd done from one scale to another, but nothing to do with sports. I was not a sports person, but this Aikido seemed to just hit the buttons and made me feel alive in a different way in my body. So I'll continue this story shortly. I'm trying to paint you a picture of what my Aikido and journey has been so far. I was only doing Aikido for the greed of wanting somebody's business, to support my family. That's not so much a bad thing, is it? But the main greed was I wanted his business to get money so that I could survive in this small shed and build my business there. The tragedy was I was quite happy with the business that I had, plus his business, that I gained because I did do the 12 weeks and went on to Cambridge Judo Club. But all of a sudden, the garage, the large garage next door, said to me one day, "You're going to have to get out and find somewhere else, Tony, because we're going to sell up." You see, and it's not so easy to just find somewhere that you can rent cheaply. And also, where will all the people come? I didn't have such things as databases. They just knew where to come through word of mouth. One customer would tell another customer. Most of you would have heard of the store John Lewis. I gained a manager from John Lewis. He liked me a lot. He liked how I would collect his car, take it back. He started introducing the people from John Lewis to me. One after the other, I would get their customer. They would tell their family. It started to grow. What would I do if I moved on? So my accountant, because everybody had to have an accountant however small you are, for tax reasons, he suggested that I took on the main garage. He worked out how I could do it, so I went to the bank, borrowed some money, took on the main garage. I'm telling you all this because I'm trying to build a picture that my life was not easy. I lived 17 miles away from the garage. I had to go home to change if I wanted to go to Aikido and then drive another 12 miles back into Cambridge. My passion for Aikido was so great that I was prepared to forsake once a week my working hours to go to Aikido because the buzz that I got from Aikido, you put that white suit on and your belt on and you become an alien. You become a person that is not of the world outside, the ones you don't like and the ones you do like in life. You step onto that mat and it's only you and the pleasure that you're getting from the art. I will continue the story shortly. Thank you for listening.